I'm Laurie. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and in about 5 minutes, or maybe 7, I'll show you what I'm standing on. It took me a long time to figure out how to shoot this video. A couple days ago, a writer asked if she could interview me for an article she's doing about infertility, and she asked me, can you be happy if you don't have kids? I said, no. There is no way that you could possibly be happy unless you have children. I'm kidding. I did say that, but I don't mean it. I shouldn't say it so lightheartedly because the truth is infertility was really hard for me and my husband to deal with. And that's why I thought I would just share a few of the ways that I learned how to be happy even though we don't have children. About a year after my husband and I started trying to have kids, we discovered that he has azoospermia, which is a type of male infertility. Unless we prayed and prayed and prayed really hard and there was some sort of a miracle, we wouldn't be able to have kids naturally. So we prayed and prayed and prayed really hard, but it didn't happen naturally. And in fact, it didn't happen at all. When I was about 17 or 18 years old, my friend had children very young, and I was standing by her baby's crib. Baby was asleep. I was touching the baby's back, like just putting my hand on her, and I could feel her small little spine, and she was breathing, and it was so beautiful. And I asked that baby, I whispered, I said, am I ever gonna have a child like you? From that day on, having a child was so important to me. Fast forward about 12 to 30 years, that baby, my friend's child, has struggled with life from about age 12. She couldn't get along with people, struggled with drug addiction, in and out of jail. And of course, my friend sacrificed everything to try and save her daughter, to try and bring her through. But my friend couldn't do anything because there's only so much you can do as a parent. When my husband and I found out that we couldn't have kids, a part of me wondered if maybe we were spared from something that would have been worse than having kids. My mom is schizophrenic. For the first 25 or 30 years of my life, I was worried that I was going to become mentally ill and unbalanced and have to go on antipsychotic medication and all of that. So when my husband and I couldn't have kids, I wondered if we may have had a child that had very difficult problems that neither of us were equipped to deal with. You can't really predict how your child is going to turn out or what's going to happen in your kid's life. There may be something that we were spared, or that our child was spared, or even that the world was spared, because you just don't know how your kid is going to turn out. The second way that I coped with not being able to have kids was that I just did the next thing that came to me. So my husband's infertility diagnosis means that he can't produce sperm. What we tried instead was IUI, or intrauterine insemination. We chose a sperm donor, and we had sperm inserted via sort of a turkey baster. A fertility clinic did it. After 6 months, none of the implantations took. And that was really disappointing. The next step was to consider in vitro, but I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to have all the different drugs, eggs, decisions about how many eggs to cull, and it's very expensive. There's a lot that goes into it. So the next right thing for me was to say no to in vitro fertilization. And that was really disappointing for my husband. If it was his choice, if he had to go through it as the woman, he would have done it. But I just couldn't do it because it wasn't right for me. One lesson that's really served me a lot in my life is to do what seems like the next natural step. For me, the IUI seemed like the good natural step, but the IVF did not. We talked about adoption or fostering, and for both of us, adoption and fostering just didn't really seem like the next natural step. So if you're coping with infertility and you don't know how to handle it and you don't know what decision to make, take time to really think about what's the next natural step. And that can be really hard when you're part of a couple and one natural step for one part of the couple is not the same as the other. But you have to stand up for yourself and try as best as you can to make decisions that feel right to you. There are no right answers. Listen to your heart and follow your true nature. The next natural step a few years later was buying a camper van and then taking these little solo journeys on my own. And then it was like, I have to go across Canada. So right now, this is my next natural step. And wait till you see what the step is I'm on right now. Keep following your heart and keep moving forward. That may mean that some relationships might fall apart and some may get stronger. You've just gotta let it flow naturally. And the third way that I learned how to be happy, even without children, is active grieving. Allowing yourself to be sad and mourn what you've lost and the path that you wanted or the dream that you've always held, but also to work towards healing in some way. I got counseling and that did help. More importantly, my faith became much deeper and more personal. I really learned how to trust that even though my life isn't working out exactly the way I hoped or I planned, there's a reason and there's a purpose and it's right and it's good. We can't really know what's best for us. We can think, yes, having kids is the best thing in my life and I have to do it. We can't know if it's in everybody's best interest for us to have children. I can't know for sure how it would have worked out if it would have worked out the way I wanted, but I can know for sure that my life, the way it's unfolding right now, is the best possible path for me and for the world. Because if I had kids, you better believe I would not be standing on this shopping cart in front of this wall in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan on a solo camper van road trip talking to you about infertility. And this is where I'm meant to be, and you are where you are meant to be too. So take good care of yourself because you are worth taking good care of. Mwah. Now you can see what I'm standing on. Wait there. Voila! I had to stand on a shopping cart, which was way over in that corner. I just thought this would be a really cool wall. Peace out, man.